I just want to explain that most of the work I'm going to show hasn't ever been seen in these existent forms. I've been really blessed to have grants that came through via Anthology Film Archives and Electronic Arts Intermix. So I've been able to edit work in some cases where I've waited 20 years to have access and to have the proper equipment. And finally, in many ways, it's evolved. So Kitsch's Last Meal has been restored through the Anthology Film Archive grants. And the first work I want to show is Infinity Kisses, the movie. It starts with stills, self-shot 35 millimeter colored slides that accumulated into a photographic grid in which I wanted to explore or examine the agency of a cat's ardent kissing. And the motive resembled the motive for my work with my self-shot erotic film, 1965, Fuses, where I didn't know if there could be a visual and sensory territory that evaded pornography and medical science in shooting the lived aspect of my own sexuality. And then, as we know, it did occupy a different territory and has remained hopeful, helpful, and transgressive even to now, and that's from 1965. So the motive with the cat had to do with the dynamic of, and in this case it was a male cat, of his expressive determinations. So starting with just a handheld 35 millimeter camera, what you're going to see tonight has really to do with a missing hand. In every frame that's been permutated through computer generations, there's a hand with the camera shooting that you'll never see, because the frame that's captured is the position of the cat on my body, on my mouth. So it interests me that the technology is always at this separation, at this remove. Both of the works you'll see tonight, as with most of what I do, the works are really about death. They're always concerned with an attempt to capture something ordinary that's consequential and fleeting. So in that sense, these works are never programmatic. They're always discovered within the process of the filmmaking, and the filmmaking depends on available equipment. So Kitsch's Last Meal, which I'll briefly introduce, is all simple camera, little box, Super 8, whereas Infinity Kisses, the movie, which we'll see first, was shot over the course of 16 years in 35 millimeter color still. The first kissing cat dies and then comes back, mysteriously enough. A little bit bigger, a little stronger, and a little more kissing urgency. And he's also a speaking cat who, as this photographic grid is printed into color Xerox, watches all the pages and says, "This is our great work." And also, when a museum asks to see a set of these images, the cat says they want this work. They're going to want it. And I assure him that even though he's a talking cat, he's wrong. And then I get a letter from the museum saying the acquisitions committee has voted to purchase all these images and all the subsequent ones. And the cat says, "See?" So that's one permutation, is this grid of, I think it's about 59 images. The images that form that grid are here subject to the re-editing computer processes and ways of splitting it. Splitting the frame, reconfigurations of duration, color, saturation, and every possible painterly process that I could get into the computer elements with a wonderful editor at Electronic Arts Intermix. So, Infinity Kisses, the movie, brand new. Where the motions and the actions just are dissolving constantly, maybe even more enveloping. I'm not sure, because it's so untried in its way, so new. But maybe we can talk about it at the end of this program. Kitsch's Last Meal makes me a little discomforted because the text is 1970s feminist gender rants. I've come back from an exile in London after 4 years with my partner, Anthony McCall, and I've regained the old house, the house that's central to Fuses. The cat, Kitsch, is 17 years old, and I'm going to follow something that Brackage had convinced me of, that everything that he ever shot and cared about dissolved, disappeared, broke up, died, went away. So my premise with this film would be that I would follow the actions of the couple through the presence of the cat, who is already 17 years old. And it was called Kitsch's Last Meal, so that I would document the cat eating at least once a week, and she ate very interesting, sophisticated, eccentric things from having been a traveling cat. One of the collusions with the cat and Anthony and myself was that she did die eating a lamb chop when she was almost 20 years old. So she was eating something and fell over. Yeah, that was more poignant than expected, or maybe as much as expected. The film is conditioned by using a little Super 8 box that was given to me after a lecture on my films, where I answered a question as to what my equipment was, and I said, well, it's nothing right now. I've come back from being away and I have nothing to work with. So, as some of you know, the man in the audience, he looked nice. He said, well, if you come to my hotel, I'll give you a camera. I thought, okay, well, I can probably handle him. And so I had this beam of a Beaulieu, or, you know, something worth the trip up to the hotel. And he met me in the lobby, and he had something like a cigar box. And he opened it up, and in it was a little kind of black rectangle with a hole in one end and a hole in the other. And I said, what is it? And he said, it's a Super 8 camera. It's that Bell & Howell that weighs 12 pounds, it's solid steel, and it has, you look here and you can see out there, and you push the button. That's about all it could do. But I took it home and I found it so easy, so intimate, so interesting in its immediacy that I decided this would be the key to the diary film, Kitsch's Last Meal. And I would use the sound that was actually happening in the house, hanging microphones often where the cat was, overhearing what the couple might be saying, or the sounds around the house, particularly the refrigerator door opening and closing was very important for her attention.